Archdiocese of Chicago is a vibrant and diverse faith community. We celebrate our faith through worship, evangelization, and reaching out to the needy. Welcome to Catholic Chicago.
Good morning, welcome to Catholic Chicago. I'm Father Greg Sackless, the rector of Holy Cathedral in Chicago. And to my left, great friend, Mark Teresi, who's very involved in the Cathedral, the 170th anniversary, 150th anniversary. And to all of you, a very blessed and happy and healthy New Year on this day, Monday, January 6, 2025. Mark, it just flew by. Christmas, New Year's, into first week of January.
It sure did, our 175th. We're in the middle of many events. January 5th is our Faith and Fitness with Father Lou Camelli,
which would have been yesterday.
Oh, it was yes. It was a wonderful event.
Because we are taping this before January 6th. Mark gets his calendar dates confused.
Okay.
But it's just going right along.
Yes. Your birthday's in February, so we'll celebrate that
next month.
Okay.
Long number 72. So introduce our wonderful guests this morning.
Yes, Maryville Academy in Des Plaines has always made its mission to meet the ever-changing needs of children. Its priority since 1883 has always been protecting children, strengthening families through all the challenges of epidemics, pandemics, and recessions, just to name a few. Today, Maryville is home to 19 programs in 4 service areas: family, residential, healthcare, and educational, in Bartlett, Berwyn, Chicago, Des Plaines, and Niles. It's currently undergoing unprecedented programming growth to reach more vulnerable children and families. As we move into this 2025 year, Maryville's mission will continue to protect children, strengthen families, while helping them reach their fullest potential by empowering their intellectual, spiritual, moral, and emotional growth. A wonderful ministry. Joining us today on Catholic Chicago is Dee Stanton, Community and Parish Outreach Coordinator of Maryville Academy, and a tremendous minister for many years in the Archdiocese of Chicago. Welcome, Dee.
Thank you.
Good morning, welcome, Dee. Didn't realize that Dee and Mark go back 40 years?
Probably, at least.
Yes. And I met you, Dee, a long time ago when you were a DRE. I met you at St. Mary of the Woods when you were in the cluster, the Cariot area.
Yes,
and how are you doing this brand new 2025 year?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you so much, and we so appreciate the invitation to be here today.
Well, now maybe everyone has heard of Maryville Academy. And when I was a little boy growing up in Park Ridge, I'd heard of Maryville and the great work they were doing even as a boy. And so maybe just give us briefly the history of Maryville Academy, just for a minute or two.
Well, Maryville was started in 1883 by the first Archbishop of Chicago, Patrick Feehan. He felt that there was a great need to help orphan children, in particular boys, to start with, especially after the Great Chicago Fire and the Great Influenza outbreak that followed years later. And so he bought farmland out near the Des Plaines River and asked for help from Catholic citizens of Chicago to help make that a reality. And so we have been in existence for 141 years. It was called St. Mary's Training, Orphanage and Training School.
Oh, yeah.
Because in addition to helping to care for the youth, they were also trained in vocational efforts, vocational work, so that they would be able to be productive citizens when they left. And then years later, they opened it so that girls could be part of Maryville as well, because Maryville did not want to be separating families. So you might have brothers and sisters, and the brothers were by us and the sisters were somewhere else. And so while they lived on different parts of the campus in Des Plaines, they were able to get together and see each other on the weekends or during playtime or things like that.
It's very interesting that with the Great Chicago Fire in 1871 and Maryville Academy starting in 1883, how he had the foresight and insight to get that property, which is choice property, right there in Des Plaines.
Yes.
And it was, we sometimes lose a sense of history that the Chicago fire ruined many families who had just come to this country, to Chicago,
Yes.
from all parts of Europe. And from that, the very great beginnings. And now, in fact, ironically, I don't know about you, Mark, but I've talked to many people over the years who said they spent time at Maryville back in the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, the 60s. I'm going back to when I was a seminarian and a young priest. And they all spoke in a very positive, loving way about how their years at Maryville transformed and changed their lives.
Well, you have a dynamic alumni association.
Yes, we have an alumni association.
Do you want to speak a little bit about how do people stay connected to Maryville?
Well, the Alumni Association does come together for celebrations, etc. Another project that happened as a result of the 140th is we have what's called the History Project. And so we have two women who have basically volunteered and have put together this wonderful exhibit of all the various religious communities that had supported us, the archbishops and cardinals who had been, the superiors and the supervisors that had been part of Maryville. All the way up through to today. Our current executive director is Sister Catherine Ryan.
Who, by the way, has been there now 20 years.
She's been there 20
and she
years.
has done a marvelous job.
She is.
Yes.
She has done a great, great job at Maryville. So kudos to her and the entire staff at Maryville.
Staff.
Well, she
Thank you.
lives the mission.
Exactly.
She lives the
Yes.
mission.
Yes. And how we view that mission is that by being an apostolate of the Archdiocese, one of the four apostolates of the Archdiocese of Chicago, we're granted the opportunity to be able to serve not only with the people of the Church of Chicago, but also in their name. You know, parishes do wonderful work and try to offer a variety of ministries, but there are just some ministries that can't be done on a parish level. You need it in a more organizational, institute way. And so we see our work at Maryville as participating in the works of mercy on behalf of the people of the Archdiocese of Chicago and in their name.
Dee, why don't you tell people a little bit of your background? How did you end up at, you have a heart for Maryville, but how did your ministerial life evolve?
So after college graduation, I began working in St. Anne's Parish in Barrington as a religious education director. I was there for 7 years. And then I moved on to St. Isaac Jogues, which is now unified with St. Martha
It's over on
Parish.
Gulf Road.
It's over on Gulf in
Niles.
Yes. And so now we've merged with St. Martha and are now All Saints Parish. But I have been part of St. Isaac Jogues / All Saints Parish I worked there for 35 years.
As a DRE.
As the DRE liturgy coordinator.
And your husband's a deacon.
My husband's
Where does
the
he
deacon.
serve?
He serves at All Saints Parish.
What year was he
Yes.
ordained a deacon?
1998.
Oh, he's a veteran.
Yes.
Okay, 27 years, going on
Yes.
27 years.
Yes.
Out of curiosity, how did the two of you meet?
Actually, we met at St. Isaac's.
You did?
Oh,
Yes, we did.
beautiful.
Well, you were working there.
Yes.
And he was a parishioner?
He was a parishioner, yes.
Oh my God.
Beautiful.
That's a
So,
great. Now let me ask this question, Dee.
Yes.
I mean, as much as everyone's heard of Maryville over the years, you just heard of Maryville Academy. What's the greatest myth about Maryville that you want to dispel in terms of what Maryville is or is not?
I can name one, a consonant. People say Maryville or Mary Hill, the cemetery.
That's true.
You know?
Yeah, the Mary Hill Cemetery in Niles
Right.
versus Maryville Academy in Des Plaines.
Yeah, so making sure they get the Maryville. But go ahead. Go ahead.
So, Maryville, while our main campus is in Des Plaines, we are actually have programming in Bartlett, in Berwyn, in Chicago, in a few areas. and Des Plaines, and now in Niles. Our newest program, we had a special needs high school on the property of Des Plaines, called the Gen School. And last year in 23, in November of 23, we opened a new high school, which is now called Walsh Academy and Vocational Tech
Now
High
explain,
School.
when you say opened up a high school, say more about that.
Well, like I said, Gen School was our high school. We had a generous donor help us. We were able to purchase a school at Walsh in Niles. And so we've moved there where we now have more room. We're capable of offering more vocational tech training for our youth so they can be productive citizens, just as it was when it was St. Mary's training school. And so we've been in the school at Walsh Academy now for over a year.
So I'm a parent, and I'm having some issues with a teenage son. What kind of a candidate is a good candidate for the services at Maryville?
So our youth, in terms of Walsh Academy, they would be referred to us, or the families would work if they have special needs, or behaviors that might need some additional support, and families perhaps are feeling that the fit isn't there for their children in their local public special ed program or whatever. The families could talk with the school district to contact Dr. Ann Craig, our principal and director of educational services for Maryville, and see if that might be a good fit for them.
So
What is the age range
14 to 22.
at Maryville?
Well, it depends on the programs.
Gotcha.
So
What's the youngest they can be?
newborn, 0.
Really?
Newborn, yes.
Newborn all the way up to 22?
All the way up to 22, yes.
Whoa.
Depending on which
on the program.
Yes.
What
so,
area?
for example, we have a crisis nursery in Chicago. It is a crisis nursery, one of 7 in the state of Illinois.
Is that where volunteers can go and hold the babies?
Well, because we are a child care agency, we welcome volunteers, but if volunteers are going to work on a regular basis with any of our children, there is a application process, a background check kind of process,
sure.
as well as some training before they are able to work with the youth on a regular kind of basis as a volunteer.
And are there residential programs?
There are residential
Could you
programs.
speak a little bit about what they look like?
So there, we have homes at residential homes in Bartlett and Des Plaines, and in Chicago, and the residential homes are staffed by staff who are there 3 8-hour shifts.
Wow.
So no one lives there on a regular basis. It's 8 hours, and so there's always the youth have the support of youth care workers. They have the support of clinicians to talk through issues. They get their education, whether on the campus where their residence is located or out in the community where they live.
Before we continue, take us a break.
What I wanted
Okay.
to do before the break was, I don't want to wait till the end of the show. How can people support these ministries? How do they contact Maryville to donate?
So to donate to Maryville, you can go to our website, which is maryvilleacademy.org. And there is a donation. If you see it on the screen there, there's a menu. If you're looking to volunteer, you can go to our volunteer area. If you might be looking for jobs, there are certainly several jobs that we are looking for help, nurses as well as youth care providers, clinicians, etc.
And the address
And they
again,
can-
the web address?
Maryville, www.maryvilleacademy.org.
Beautiful. We're going to take a little break.
Thank you.
We'll be back. Dee Stanton, Community Parish Outreach Coordinator, Maryville Academy. We'll be back in a few minutes to continue to hear the stories of this 1883 ministry that is still thriving here in the Archdiocese of Chicago.
141 years later.
Yeah, we'll be back in a few
Your
minutes.
age.
I was just going to say that about, and
I beat you to it.
No.
Thank you.
We'll be back.
I am a seminarian.
The Church needs compassionate and well-trained priests to help guide each of us through life.
What inspires me, what draws me always to the priesthood is continue to see priests be a beacon of hope for other people.
You can play a part in the education of these young men as they prepare for a life of service to others.
I want to be that beacon of hope too, and it sets my heart on fire.
To support our seminarians, make your gift at archchicago.org/seminarian fund or call 312-534-7959.
People always say, how can you spend your day with 3-year-olds? Seeing the changes that they go through and just the journey and how they grow, this is a very rewarding job. Even though at the end of the day, we're not the highest paid people on earth. And when I have a parent contact me and say, my child loves school, that to me, I'm setting that foundation for their love of learning. Because really, you are changing lives, you are molding lives.
Shape the next generation of leaders. Teach. Apply today at archchicago.org/schooljobs.
We're back at Catholic Chicago. We're with Dee Stanton, Community and Parish Outreach Coordinator of Maryville Academy. We're getting a wonderful background on Maryville. Father Greg has a question.
Yeah, Dee, you've been a wonderful guest. And out of curiosity, with your background at St. Anne's in Barrington, your background at St. Isaac Jogues for 35 years before the name change, here you are today in his beautiful ministry at Maryville Academy. How did that happen?
Well, I had always heard of Maryville when I was younger because my father had been a student at DePaul Academy, as had been one of the previous supervisors at Maryville.
Wow.
And so he
Your
would
father?
always, my dad, so he would always say, oh, I'm going to Maryville for an alumni reunion, etc. So that was kind of always, we knew it was a place where they took care of children and took very good care of them, etc. And then over the years, when I was working in the parish, we would bring toys or hold little drives, usually at Christmas time, to support Maryville, or school supplies in the fall. And so we would go over there and we would see Sister Kathy and some of the other women that were volunteering and now work there also, etc. And then about a year before I started at Maryville, Sister Kathy actually invited me to consider coming to Maryville, that she had this new position of Community and Parish Outreach Coordinator, and that she'd like me to consider, to come. And
So really kind of came out of nowhere.
Yes.
She approached you,
Yes.
invited you,
Yes.
and the rest is history. You've been
And
there for
I've-
how long now?
I've been there for about 16, 17 months.
Okay.
So did you say yes right away?
I was very interested, but I did not go right away, only because we had just had a new pastor named for the new parish through Renew My Church, and I wanted to try and help support that transition.
And you had been there for 35 years
Yes.
before the transition.
Yes.
That's amazing.
So
So you have been in church ministry now 40 plus years.
yes, Father.
But you're only 39 years old.
I
Mark,
wish.
that's amazing.
I know.
I wish.
It's a miracle.
Well, then Dee's been in ministry as long as you have in terms
Yeah.
of parish work.
Yeah.
And I've been
And don't you
45
feel like,
years.
And don't you feel like, I mean, maybe the three of us, every day is wonderful. I mean, in terms of ministry, it's a challenge. But I
and
wouldn't
it's a
have
blessing.
Yeah,
it's
I wouldn't
a
have
blessing.
traded any of the time.
But also, the years have gone by
Except the
too
years
fast.
with you. No,
It's
I'm
been a
kidding.
penance
You
for
know.
you, buddy.
So I just feel so very blessed to be at Maryville each day and
Yeah.
to be part of the administration, to be able to help support our wonderful workers, our staff who are, if you will, on the front lines every day, helping to keep our children safe and protected, and helping our families to grow and to heal and to be strengthened. Because in the end, that's the family is that
yeah.
basic unit of relationship, and we want to do our best to be part of that. Maryville has a monthly show called Maryville Connects on CAN TV, and Sister was just talking on it the other night, and she brought up that traditional proverb, "It takes a village," to raise a child, to help a family, and she said, we want to be part of every family's village.
Beautiful.
And so that's how we view ourselves and want to support that. Whether it's through the parish community or our programs that are open to the community at large.
And what are
et
some
cetera.
new initiatives at Maryville that people should know about?
So right now, some of our newest initiatives are in the Austin community in Chicago. We gained access of a gym back this summer, at the beginning of the summer. And so it's located at 5022 West Madison in the Austin community. And so we have after school from like 3 to 4:30. Sister likes the children to try and get home before it gets too dark with the time change now and everything. And then the center is also open on Saturdays from 10 to 3.
Beautiful.
So that's been a very positive experience. We're working on getting a mentor program initiated. We do some tutoring. They have arts and crafts and computer and some of those various kinds of activities and skills. Of course, then all of the open gym. The kids like to come together, hang out with their friends, but do it so in a safe and
I find
positive
interesting, Dee, that
environment.
is when you came to see me before Christmas,
Yes, Father.
I've always thought of Maryville Plaines. When you opened up my eyes, you said we have different locations
Yes.
in different cities, and I thought, wow, that's like the best kept secret, because to me it was always Maryville Plaines, main campus.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
We have all these satellite places. Now, I know you depend on a lot of individuals, paid staff, volunteers. If someone were watching a program today or listening and said, I'd like to get involved with Maryville to become a volunteer, what are some areas an individual can serve as a volunteer at Maryville in the whole campus?
Well, we have our crisis nursery that they're at times looking for support there. Our crisis nursery serves youth who are 0 to 6, and they come to us to hopefully either avoid a crisis or because the family is experiencing a difficult time, etc. And they can stay with us from 4 hours up to 72 hours at a time. So 3 nights, 3 days and nights, they can stay. They stay overnight. They are fed and have a safe, warm place to sleep. They have time to play, time to learn, etc. So volunteers are needed there. Volunteers perhaps for our healthcare center, which is a transitional healthcare facility for children who are medically complex issues. And perhaps their families aren't quite prepared yet. Sometimes they have to do some reconstruction to be able to get a wheelchair into the home. Sometimes it's just that they need a little extra support or encouragement to learn what to do in case machinery, that's critical to the well-being and the survival of the child.
Now,
might,
can I interrupt you 1 second?
Go
Because I'll
ahead.
make sure we get this in. So your parish outreach, If I'm in a parish and I have a group that wants to come for a tour or a visit of Maryville, do you do that? And how is that done?
So my responsibility is more going to the parishes. We could maybe show people the outside, but because again we're a child care agency and we need to do our best to protect the children, we can't just go and say, oh, knock on a door of one of the homes and say, hi, we're here to visit, But for example, one of the parishes in the Archdiocese this Christmas time, they invited several of our programs to come for lunch at the parish.
That's a great idea.
And so because then we're responsible, to bring them there.
Right.
We're responsible to staff
Pick and choose.
and watch, and kind of keep an eye on everything like that. And so the youth had a wonderful time. The parish provided a lovely luncheon. They had musicians from the parish come in and do a little singing. The youth got to do a couple of carols also to share back with the volunteers that were there from the parish.
Then you would have children on all these campuses that live there 24/7? Maryville Academy.
Not every single.
Des Plaines would have a
in Des
campus
Plaines,
24/7.
we do have youth that are in residence there, yes. And we have youth in residence in a couple of the other suburbs or
Otherwise,
places
like
I
during the
mentioned.
day, and
Otherwise, our services are like open to the public. Like we have a family behavioral health clinic. So the office for that is located in downtown Des Plaines for families. So that's like a usual. You make an appointment and come to. But we also do. They also do televisits besides in-person.
now, for example,
visits.
if someone wanted to call Maryville right now and have a child in one of the programs, one of the campuses, is there a phone number they can call, Dee?
So a lot of our programs are connected with government agencies like DCFS or Office of Refugee Resettlement, et cetera, a few others. So a lot of times the youth get referred to us through those agencies.
Okay, got you.
But someone could, watching today, they could call our behavioral health clinic or whatever. So if they weren't really sure, if they wanted to talk to someone to get some information, they would call 847. I don't call myself that often. It's 847-294-1999.
One more time.
847-294-1999.
And again, to make a donation.
To make a donation, they can go to maryvilleacademy.org, and there's a donate button on the website.
And then I love that idea of the parish hosting Maryville. If someone in a parish is thinking about that, watching this and thinking about that, who do they contact?
They
contact
could
you
contact
direct?
me.
And give that number again then?
So my direct line is 847-294-1899. So I'm one digit away from the overall Maryville number.
Got you.
And my office is located at the Des Plaines campus.
That's a great
But
idea.
I go all around to make visits to parishes.
Including visiting me
I
before
visited
Christmas.
you. I've
That's
visited.
right on the radio here today.
I've visited individual ministries. I've visited parish staffs. I've visited parish councils this
Great
past
ideas.
year to be able to share, in particular, some of the community. The crisis nursery is open to whomever.
Well,
And you're the
everything.
right person.
Oh,
You're
yeah, you-
absolutely the right
Joyce,
person.
Thank you so
Mark,
very
this
much.
whole half hour as we were interviewing and talking with Dee, you never stopped smiling once.
Yeah.
I mean, you
love the ministry.
You
I
love
do.
the ministry.
I
You
love the-
enjoy. You feel so blessed. We're blessed by you. But you never
People.
stop smiling once. So I want to thank in a very special way
Thank you,
Dee
Father.
Stanton, the Community and Parish Outreach Coordinator at Maryville Academy, for being our guest on the program this morning.
Thank you for
May
having
God
me.
bless you. May be there another 20 years, even if they're about 16, 17 months. So God bless and keep up the great work.
Thank you,
Special
Father.
thanks to
Thank
my
you,
great
Mark.
friend,
You're very
Also-
welcome.
Mark Teresi, co-host.
It was great.
It's always great jabbing you, and you're jabbing me right back. Special thanks to our producer,
Pray for me,
coordinators,
everybody.
Michael May and Clean Control for the great work they do. They put up with us on this program. They're shaking their heads yes. So may God bless all of you. And to all of you, a very blessed, happy, and healthy 2025. We pray for peace in our city, our nation, and our world. God bless all, and have a great year.